All right, we have a motion on the floor from committee. What? Oh, go ahead. You want to talk?
Kind of, talking about failing schools, talking about C, D, and F schools, talking about, you brought up, Mr. Hardy, that central office that has kind of failed. To kind of put this in context, when I got on the board years ago, they were rolling out No Child Left Behind. They had a line in the sand. And every year, that line in the sand moved up the scale and went from 30%, and I'm just the numbers, 30% to 40% the next year. Then that school had to go from 40% to 43%. And the year after that, they always had an improvement. Then you had schools that might have been at 95 that had to get to the point that they were having to score 110 or 118 to be able to keep their A, B, or C grades. So to say that administration has kind of failed, I disagree with that. The line in the sand has kept moving. I see a lot of teachers out here, I see a lot of administrators, principals, and I see a lot of parents in the back. I want to commend y'all for coming in and listening to this. If we had more parents that got involved in the schools, I don't think we would be here. These schools wouldn't be here. We have students that are wanting to go elsewhere to make the schools better, and that's not happening. But the line in the sand has kept moving. The students, so when we started this journey, when I started years ago, to where they are now, there has been consistent improvement every single year in these schools. What has changed, again, is the line in the sand. Schools that may have been scoring 25-30% back then are now scoring significantly better. They have improved every single year. The amount of money that this board invests in these schools is truly mind-boggling. The dollars spent in some of these schools compared to some of the other ones is anywhere from 50 to 60% more invested in your students. What we need is to have them and the parents involved. There's 4 legs in a successful school. You got the students, you got the parents, you got the community, the administration. If any one of those are not participating in it, we're going to have issues. Y'all are not the problem. I commend you again for being here. It's the parents that want to blame everybody else, for whatever the issues are. Ever since I've been on the board, we've been willing to invest in these schools and do what we need to do to get there. A lot of the interference that we've had since I've been on the board have been board members in the past when it came time it was clear to everybody that a change needed to be made in the administration. It would be, well, you can't do that because that's my friend, or that's not going to make me look good, or whatever the case. Sometimes you got to have hard choices that really need to be made. Now we're at the point to where we're going to try to pass some bonds in this parish to deal with some of the issues in these schools, whether it be the physical facilities of school, whether putting roofs and investing inside the classrooms with technology and everything else. And now we've got board members that they don't want to do that in those schools that we're talking about. Getting on TV and saying, I'm not going to support a bond to make my schools who are having issues, we're just going to keep them down. We're not going to invest any money in that. I would be appalled if I was y'all. That makes no sense whatsoever. We've invested $150 million in bonds on the west side of the parish since I've been on here. And in our town, they're scoring well. We invested the money inside the classrooms. We're investing money inside your classrooms. What we need is to have all 4 legs participating. And if the 5th leg is being the board members, I commend you again for being here. You need to get your people involved in your areas, and I see ladies shaking their head, to get them in these schools. The things that are going on in these schools, what the teachers are teaching them, it's great. It's phenomenal. We are not investing in these schools with the money that's coming in to give them additional activities to draw the students back into schools that are out of zone because somewhere else. If they would actually look at what the schools are, no, but the perception that these schools are failing. They're not failing. They have progressively gotten better every single year, and an investment in the schools is going to continue to make it better. I highly suggest that you give with your people and you support these bonds. I'm telling you, since we've been on here, the amount of money that we spent has been in the benefit and the betterment of your child's education. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He took a shot at him last time.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Yes, sir.
He's not addressed.
Mr. Breaux identified me as probably incorrectly. I think he was talking about Ms. Gay who opposed the ball. I am caught between a
Yes, I do.
rock and a hard place. I support the ball, but
I'm just going to remind the board, we're talking about whether or not we want to accept the grant permission to the school redesign. I appreciate all your comments, I really do, but let's get back to the business of the board. All right, Mr. Hardy, I'm going to watch you. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Do what you got to say.
I pointed out repeatedly, over and over again, that I'm not new at this thing. This is not my first rodeo. Now, unlike Mr. Breaux, I've been in those classrooms. As a matter of fact, I was so disgusted with what I saw that I looked around some 6 years ago. I felt we were not doing what we should do. Mr. Pete's right there. Since we were not performing, I had no problem with they taking over these schools because I had not seen progress in 17 years. I know that Mr. Savoy sent out people to look at what I was saying. We had visitors, but if the school is not performing, and I'm looking at that, and you're telling you've had a lot of progress, well, for the last 20-some years, and by the way, I was there at those meetings for accountability that we had in Lafayette. You can say they're approving, but when those kids can't pass an ACT test, something's wrong. The bar is moving not only for other schools, it's moving for the schools that are struggling. So something's wrong if somebody's making that bar and others are not making that bar. So whom do we look at? Yes, we look at all those legs you were talking about, Mr. Breaux, the superintendent and his administration, the school, etc. We look at all those legs. But I've reached a point when I see our children in Washington, the garage, not being able to make the necessary ACT scores to go on to college. Now, we do send a lot of children from these schools to Luella, but yes, I'm for the bond issue, I'm for this grant, but I'm also looking at the level of preparation we've had over the years, which has not been sufficient. It has not moved those children to the testing level where they can pass ACT tests and move on to college. I'm definitely for the bond issue. If you're from my district, you know Fred Hardy's for the bond issue. I'm for this grant here, but I do want the preparation to be much better than it has been in the past. That's why I mentioned things like MOLO, understaffed, completely understaffed. If this school had been anywhere else, it probably would be closed down because it's unbelievable. Let me put it across town and see what happens to it. It would be staffed immediately. So this is the kind of thing, and what happens with a board member like me, you put me in a position where I suspect we don't get all the funding that we really need. So there are a lot of things that I have. Yeah, you're shaking your head, Mr. Brookhouse, but when you look at the District 34 and you see what you've done, it's incredible. Thank you a lot, Kevin.
Mr. Delafosse.
I think we've probably talked about some very important things, and we probably need to get back to the issue that we have regarding the item that's on the agenda. So I'm going to